I'm going to pick Marcus Peters. He's from Oakland. He's a Bay Area guy. I've seen his stats. I've watched a couple of his videos. He's a short cornerback, but I feel that he would actually be an impact to the team immediately.
Are you listening?
It's time. It's almost time. We're just hours away from finding out who is going to become a fresh, new, shiny 49er. Draft time, and not a moment too soon. How tired are you of hearing about Arik Armstead about to become a 49er? The mock drafts. Each and every one says we are going to pick up Arik Armstead in the first round. Just say no to Arik Armstead. The circle and the slash. No. And besides that, I've seen some things about Arik Armstead that have turned me off anyway. Things like inconsistent in effort, gets tired easily. These are not good things. And this is why we can believe that Trent Baalke has done the old smokescreen gag on the media, leading them away, because I'm sure that Trent is the one feeding the media the rumor that he's going to pick up Arik Armstead. Of course, nobody knows it's him, but it's out there, isn't it? Trent did it. He leads everybody to believe he's going to do one thing, only so he can do another. Ha ha! Trent, you sly dog, you. Something else, too, about the 49ers, the 3-4 defense. Everybody knows we run it, but the 49ers run a hybrid of the 3-4 defense. And without getting into a lot of detail, just real quickly, defensive ends in the 3-4 defense, 49er fashion. One is a 5 technique, of which we have plenty of. Tank Carradine, Quentin Dial, Ian Williams, and others. What we are looking for is the elite warrior, the 3 technique defender. This is Justin Smith, who may be leaving us this year and for sure by next year. Trent has to be in search of that style of defender. This is the guy that can snuff the run. He wreaks havoc at the line of scrimmage, and he also has the talent to get into that backfield and take down the QB. The Jedi of the defense, Justin Smith. They're going to be hard to find. There are 3 or 4 in the draft this year. One is Leonard Williams, which is going to be very difficult to attain unless Trent can do some very, very creative trading. Otherwise, who could fall to number 15? His name is Malcolm Brown. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. You still don't know what Trent's going to do. But when you look at Trent's record, you know his history says he will always bring back a gem. 3rd round, and maybe his best pick of all time, Navarro Bowman. By many, he is considered the best linebacker in the league, and before he went down especially. You got Chris Culver, a mid-round pickup. He's going to be calling Trent in about 3 weeks into the season, asking to come home. So many others that have been attained. Dante Johnson, Quentin Dial, Aaron Lynch, Kendall Hunter, all attained in late rounds. And Trent, we trust. I have full faith in him. He'll come back with something special. Oh, before we do it, one more thing. Let me mention, I just got this from Joel Crabtree, who comes over. Joel, give you a shout out right now. I appreciate it. I went and checked out all the songs from the Heat, a rapper called Heat. I had no idea. If you didn't know, there's music, inspiring stuff for a 49er fan. Songs like Empire, Die Hard, and Home. Farewell to Candlestick. It pulls at the heartstrings. That is a beautiful number. There's a guy named Bailey. Also, he does a song called Who's Got It Better Than Us? All good stuff. If you get a chance, get over and check that out. You'll love it, I guarantee you.
Ronbo, did you check out what Aaron Lynch posted on his Instagram for the Seahawks?
Yeah, I sure did. I loved it.
And dude said, quote, Niners ain't nothing to...
Oh, well, you can't say that on the air.
I know.
Be careful here.
He continued to say,
Yeah.
we is war ready, unquote. Aaron Lynch, that's my dog, bro.
Yeah.
Things about to change around here, Ronbo. Hawks domination of the Niners, that is over.
I hear you on that.
Before every game, we may have to have Michael Butler start the contest.
Who?
You know. Ooh, let's get ready to rumble. You like that?
I like that a lot.
Chicago-style pizza tonight, Ronbo. We need to get in draft town.
Yeah.
Meet you down at Patches, the one on Fillmore.
Fillmore?
And don't bring that Saints fan dude with you. The boy is strange.
Listen, if you're going to run around with rival fans, why not a fan from the NFC South? They pose no threat to anybody. Oh, let me give you, in case you didn't know, if you didn't see what Aaron Lynch posted, and it's officially Lynch Mob 59. Check it out. Aaron Lynch, that was slick. I loved it. Let's get on over to the Niner Cam and let me introduce you to another member of the Niner family. It is draft time, and I went and found Rob, and Rob is a man with a plan on how we are going to fix the 49er team. Rob, hello, man. What's up?
How you doing today, Ronbo?
Yeah. You know, man, I'm telling you right now, here's one thing I can't get enough of. Everybody acts as if we're just like a piece of Swiss cheese. Like our team is just so full of holes as if we've been shot with buckshot. I consider that very insulting, but we do have some needs. What is your opinion on that? How many holes do you think we need filling, honestly? I mean, in your opinion, because personally, I see about 4 holes to need to be filled. What do you think?
I agree with you. I definitely feel that our offensive line could use a little bit of help. I think that that's probably going to be our strongest need in this upcoming draft. Defensive line is another hole that we could definitely use. Since Justin Smith's future is still kind of in jeopardy with us, we definitely get a guy that can come in and maybe learn off him if he decides to want to come back, especially with Ray McDonald gone as well. He's another guy that you want to be able to fill his hole. Cornerback is another spot that we definitely need as well, since we lost a couple of guys. And possibly, I would say maybe, a 4th running back would be our other hole that we would need.
You'll enjoy the fact then that Trent, for the last 7 years, has not missed grabbing a running back. And there were a couple of times I'm wondering, was it really necessary? Because those guys usually they end up on the bench, or in one case where we get a guy that Trent does like to pick up guys that are injured, and then they come in and then they fade, and we lost what's his name last year. So, and then you got Hunter that got hurt. But then, when you think about it, maybe it's a good idea that he does.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, definitely having Reggie Bush, Carlos Hyde, Kendall Hunter in the mix. I mean, they're going to be 3 strong guys. But the thing is, with the running back position, whether it's practice time, whether it's during the game, guys get hurt. And if you have one other guy added to the mix, another guy, Jared Haynes, possibly can be added to that 4th mix. So if we add him to the mix of running backs, I mean, you have 4 solid guys right there that can definitely run some yardage throughout the field. But I would personally feel that if we actually got ourselves a draft pick, that would bring a lot of competition to the guys to actually want to play harder,
Now, your first pick, number 15, Rob picks for the San Francisco 49ers. Who's that going to be, Rob?
I'm going to pick Marcus Peters. He's from Oakland. He's a Bay Area guy. I've seen his stats. I've watched a couple of his videos. He's a short cornerback, but I feel that he would actually be an impact to the team immediately. He's not very tall, but he's got the speed. Anybody that can play for their Bay Area team, whether it's Oakland or San Francisco, they're going to give it all they got. And he'd be the perfect choice for us, honestly. And, there's a few other guys that you could possibly check. I mean, Ronald Darby and Jalen Collins. The thing is with Jalen Collins, he's gotten problems with drugs. So it's kind of iffy right there when you decide to want him on the team, especially with all the negativity that the analysts give towards us, with all the players that we've had that have gotten in trouble. So he would be an iffy guy. But I think, honestly, Peters would be the right way to go.
Did you say Collins has
Yes.
issues? I didn't know about that. And I thought...
Yeah. I was actually reading a couple articles yesterday about it, and I heard he has a few off-field drug problems. So that may be, a little iffy on us getting him, especially the nature of domestic violence we've had with players and, a few off-field incidents, especially with Alden Smith. So he can definitely be a sensitive guy to bring on the team.
Now, Rob, now with that being said, you've seen the schedule. I just want to bounce back and forth. There's so many issues this week. You've seen the schedule. Why do you think league analysts are looking at us as going to bite the basement in the NFC West? Granted, the NFC West is the toughest division out there. But looking at our roster compared to Arizona, who's got that ancient QB that could go down on any series of downs, they don't have a running back. Seattle, what are the odds of a team going 3 years in a row back to the Super Bowl? And they're picked to return again.
You know, I feel like Seattle's, they're going to be there. You know, on paper, they're legit. I mean, they did get Jimmy Graham as their tight end, and that's another guy that was kind of a challenge for us when we played the Saints. And at the same time, I feel that we're going to be neck to neck with St. Louis because they got Foles as their quarterback, and they're a pretty solid team. They played us tough last year. Arizona will still be Arizona. They're going to be a good team this year, but I don't feel that we're going to be last place. I definitely feel we're going to be up in the top of the rankings this year, especially in NFC West.
I like that. When the 49er talks like that, it's just music by ears.
I know, same here.
Let's look at some of those receivers. Everybody, you'd like to see a receiver in the first round or second round at least, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, and we got some good receivers in the draft this year. You know, I was looking into a couple of the guys. I personally feel that our best receiver, if we were to get anybody, would probably be Nelson Agholor.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I like him. Because
Yeah?
I was about to say Devontae Parker, Jalen Strong, Nelson, Doyle Green Beckham. Do you know that somebody compared him to J.J. Stokes? And it just dawned on me. That
Really?
could very well be. He looks like gold. Stokes did too, coming out of UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
But Stokes was as tender as a piece of, he could not take any contact. He couldn't run routes. He turned into the biggest bust of all time. We're so hot on Doyle Green Beckham. Could we be wrong?
No, you got a point on him. I've actually heard some good things about Beckham as well. The only thing I've heard is just he has off-field issues with the law, and that's a guy that, especially with the Niners having so many problems with the law, you kind of want to be careful with him. But at the same time, it's like if you're a pro, you know, you have to mature. So he could be another good fit for us as well. I mean, his numbers are really good in college, so you might want to possibly give him a chance, honestly.
You and I discussed this a few days ago too. Alex Boone decided I've meant to look into this even further. Alex Boone, for some reason, came out and gave an assessment on Jim Harbaugh, and he's the same guy that defended Harbaugh early in the season when Harbaugh was being jumped on.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Boone actually went to his defense. And now Booney says negative things about Coach Jim Harbaugh, which, of course, if you've been watching that story, Culver's came in and said, we went to 3 championship finals. How in the world we said such a bad coach? What do you think about Alex Boone coming out like that?
I didn't like it. You know, I respected Harbaugh since day one. I mean, he came in, he revamped the franchise. You know, he had the most wins in his few years with us. And I would agree everybody in the Bay Area would probably hate the comments that he said. I mean, you know, it's one thing to defend the guy in the beginning, but then to say that he pushed everybody to a higher level and that was basically just every game was just push. You know, to put a guy down for pushing you to play at your maximum potential, I don't think it's fair. You know, I think it's wrong of him to say that. Honestly, the way they got rid of Harbaugh was a bit harsh. And to have players stand up for the guy one day and then kind of dog him the next, it made things kind of iffy. And you kind of wonder, why would he say that? Why would it take a couple of months after Harbaugh left for him to come out with all this stuff? You know, how do you feel about that?
I did take issue to it because the first thing I worried about, this team needs to develop continuity. There needs to be a camaraderie in that locker room, that kind of adhesiveness. It'll make the team play better. You know, if you're all together on the same page. Now, if you do something that's going to polarize one part of the locker room versus the other part of the locker room, you know how guys are. There's going to be that mumbling around and somebody's going to walk over and say, you got something you want to say to me? And, you know, and these things start to escalate, and pretty soon now you have locker room issues. And this is the biggest thing that, the first thing I thought about, now what did you do, Alex? Don't start any fires in the locker room.
I agree. I agree with you. I mean, you know, I haven't heard any other players actually say anything negative. I mean, especially since Tom Sula became the coach. I think just, you know, Harbaugh did what he did for us. He tried, and, you know, we should just respect him as who he is and move on with it.
I'll bet you've got some predictions on whether we're going to the playoffs or not.
I say we are going to go to the playoffs this year. It'll be tough to do a 13-3, even a 12-4. I like to be a little bit more realistic, and I like to say hopefully we can do a 10-6. It'll be tough because we definitely had some games last year where there was a lot of penalties. They cost us the game, and there was a few interceptions. There was a few misguided plays, and Kaepernick training. And I'm hoping that with the new additions that we got and the new draft picks we're going to get, we become a solid team like we have been the last few years. I mean, we still have a lot of the same guys that were under Harbaugh, and when Harbaugh was our coach, we saw how they played. And as long as we get a few more key additions, the guys that want to play at that high energy, I think we should do pretty good. I personally feel like the schedule is in our favor a little bit this year. There will be a couple road games where it might be iffy. A lot of the home games we got going on this year, though, it should be against manageable teams, I would say.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm always optimistic. I gave us 11 wins just because of the chip placed on the shoulder with no respect given the 49ers whatsoever by league analysts. And every show has us around 500 and below. And I'm thinking, wow, is that the way it's going to be? Okay.
It's hard to say. I've heard a lot of people say we're going to be 7-9. We might be 8-8. It's tough to believe that. Because we have really good players, and I'm sure a reason why we kind of struggled last year is because we've made the playoffs the last 3 years in a row. And when you go that far into the playoff and have a short off season, you're tired. And I saw a lot of the guys, they didn't have the energy that they did the last few years, and I feel like with a longer off season this time around, they're going to get right back into it come September.
Listen, before we go, you realize, of course, what standard procedure on this program is.
I do,
Niner yell. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Niners!
That was special, Rob. Thanks, Rob. Hope we do get Marcus Peters, man. He's one of my faves, too. Well, it is only a little while away. We'll find out if it's Marcus Peters and everybody else. Meanwhile, I'm going to go join MC Niner and get some Chicago-style deep dish pizza. Maybe I'll leave the Saints fan wherever he is. Meanwhile, I'll see you on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Count me out.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.